Well, greetings and good morning, Business 10 students. This is Mr.D. This is week number 2 in our 16-week Introduction to Business class here at Norco College. And this week you're going to be looking at economic systems. You're going to talk a little bit about socialism, communism, and capitalism and how those affect business and how those are kind of the foundation to how businesses might operate in a company or in a country. And of course, this has an impact on kind of the success or lack of success of a business. We'll also be looking at the idea of a free market and supply and demand for setting pricing. And so you'll be doing a homework assignment on that as well. And so this is kind of a big overview lecture or session, should I say, chapter on how it all works together, how business works within the setting of the different economic systems. So anyway, that's what we'll be talking about. Again, this is just a video to recap what we covered last week to kind of give you a preview of what we're going to be looking at this week. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I'm going to go ahead and sign in to our class in Canvas. So here I am, and we are in module number 1 still. So I'm going to scroll down here to our front page and go ahead and just select module number 1. Not sure why module 2 is not showing up. Just didn't load right, I guess. So here we are. So this was your welcome module that you did last week. You did your introduction participation assignment. And then we moved into chapter 1, which was all, not really chapter 1, week 1, which is all chapter 17, looking at your career in business and kind of what can you do with a degree in business. And so hopefully it was very eye-opening to you and helpful in your planning, future planning. As we move into week number 2, then there is, of course, an overview you might want to read and check out. There's, of course, some course materials, and then we get into the chapters. So you can just, again, if you haven't figured it out already, you can just read it right here in Canvas by selecting the folder and then stepping your way through by hitting the next button. But eventually it'll bring you to our week 2 assignments, which your first one is a check-in assignment. Now, just like your initial mandatory check-in assignment, this one is a little different. They're check-in assignments. That one you got extra credit for. This one's actually worth 10 points. And what you need to do here is you need to go in and answer questions from the textbook. It's very important that you include the questions with your answers so I know what you're answering and also where you found the page number for, excuse me, where you found the answer. So the page number for where you found the answer. And that's required because some students just search the answer on the internet, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the textbook answer. And so if you're using the online textbook, you should be able to see the page number. So make sure you do that. If you have any issues with that, let me know. But that is required. I'll not give you credit unless there's a page number and the questions to your answers. But basically, I'm just looking for the textbook answer in your own words. So that's what the check-in assignment is. Then you have a homework assignment here on supply and demand. And this is basically, you know, study the chapter on supply and demand. I give you the references as well as the PowerPoint slides. And then go ahead and open this. It's like a quiz, but it has drop-down menu. So you'll see questions being asked with the drop-down menu to select the right answer. So if you kind of work through the worksheet, there's also a worksheet attached. If you work through the worksheet, you can be ready to fill in those drop-down menus. And it's just kind of showing you what happens when demand changes, what happens when supply changes, what happens when price changes. So very important, and I think you'll really enjoy that assignment. Then we have our discussion post that we started last week. You have 4 weeks to do this assignment, so this is just week 2. So if you've not had a chance to watch the TED Talk and answer the questions, do that right away. Also, if you have, begin to view and comment on other students' discussion posts and the ideas that you're having dialogue with one another. And so make sure you're doing that and that you're dialoguing with others in your section of the class. If you see here, there's 2. That's because we have 2 sections of this class. And you're not allowed to interact with one another, but you are allowed to interact with everyone in your section. So this is 2 separate assignments for the 2 separate classes. You can't see each other's assignments. You'll only see one. So you're fine to interact with anybody that you're able to within your section. Then, of course, there's a quiz here, quiz number 1. And this will be on quiz number 2 on chapter 2. So actually, did we have a quiz last week? We did. So this is your second quiz. And altogether, there are 15 quizzes. And I will be giving you, I'll be only keeping your highest 10 quizzes for your final grade. So if you bomb on a couple of them, don't worry about it. But you can take them 3 times, and the idea here is them to be a teaching tool, not so much an assessment tool. The assessment tool is the exams and the discussion posts. So, all right, well, that's pretty much it for week number 2. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me in my office hours, or you can just text or email me and we'll set up a time to meet. So have a great week, everyone, and you will see me again on video next week.